Hello again, my Cougar artist. It's good to be with you again. This is actually my first video since way back in June when I was doing remote learning for all the art students at Rouses Point Elementary. This video is intended for the Foxes, the Bears, and the Beavers. That's the fourth grade students at Rouses Point Elementary. But if there's any other Cougar artists out there who want to learn about Agammographs, feel free to create with us. And if you don't know what an Agamograph is, the best way that I can think to describe it is if you've ever had a card or something has a picture on it that changes slightly depending on what angle you look at it. Maybe you have that card that looks like a picture of a Pokemon ball, but if you turn it slightly, it looks like maybe a Pikachu. Then it's a Pokemon ball and a Pikachu. Pokemon ball and Pikachu, again, depending on the angle that you look at it. That image is called an Agamograph. And the reason it's called an Agamograph is because it was invented by an artist named Yaakov Agam. Now, Yaakov Agam is a very important artist from Israel who's over 90 years old. He's still doing very important work in art. He's considered one of the most important influential artists of the last half century. And one of his most important developments is this Agamograph. And we're going to learn how to do one today. Kind of a low-key, low-tech Agamograph, but I think it's still going to be very fun. I'm going to start out with a piece of paper that's 12 inches by 9 inches, and I'm going to draw a line right down the middle, dividing it into two 6-inch segments. On the other side, I'm going to put a dot every inch along the top and every inch along the bottom, connect them with a ruler so that I've divided the back of my drawing into 12 even segments. The only thing to do after that, or the next step, is to decide what to draw on this side of the paper. So why do we do that? As I'm trying to decide what to draw for my two images, I think it's a good idea to pick two images that relate to each other. Maybe a kitten and a puppy, maybe a sunrise and a sunset, maybe your two favorite anime characters. I decided to draw my two favorite superheroes from the comic books when I was a kid. Now that may bring up 2 points that you have a hard time really getting your brain around. One is that I used to be a kid. I know, hard to imagine, and a pretty dorky kid at that who loved comic books. That part might be a little bit easier to believe. And two, superhero stories used to be presented before movies and videos in something called comic books. And if you're not familiar with the concept of books or reading, ask your parents. They'll remember. Well, now that my drawing and my Smart Aleck comics are finished, it's time to add some color. Well, now my picture is done in full color. And I really took my time doing this because, as I've mentioned in other videos and in class, the way that you color your picture, really taking your time and doing a good job, is one of, if not the most important parts of your picture. I've seen a lot of good drawings that look even better or not so good, depending on how well they're colored. But this one is finished. So if I turn my paper over, you may recall that I mentioned that on the back, I drew a set of lines dividing my paper into 12 even segments. So I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut my drawing carefully right along those lines. Well, my drawings have now been cut into 12 1-inch strips. So I'm going to take my glue stick and I'm going to begin gluing them one at a time onto a separate piece of paper. And it's very important that I glue them back in the correct order. So I'm going to start with Iron Man, and I'll maybe bring the camera down so you can see what's happening a little bit better. I put glue on the white paper, and now I'm adding the first strip. This was the first section of the Iron Man picture. Add a little bit more glue, and add the first strip of Captain America. I want to make sure that they are touching but not overlapping. I'll add a little bit more glue and continue all the way across my paper until my entire drawing is glued onto the new piece of paper. Well, my drawing, or more specifically, my two drawings have now been glued onto one piece of paper. But it looks a little bizarre because each drawing is divided into 1-inch segments. But we're not quite finished. The last thing that we have to do is take our paper and fold it up like an accordion, or if you've ever made a paper fan. So I'll bring the camera down again one more time to show you how we get started. Turn it over, and it should fold fairly easy because the paper is a little bit thicker where each strip ends. Turn it this way. And I'm going to keep turning it over and make a fold where every crease is. So now my Agamograph is folded up like an accordion, which means it's finished, and it is a drawing of Iron Man and Captain America, Tony Stark, Steve Rogers. I hope you have fun with the Agamograph project. I think they're very fun, very exciting, and the thing that I'm really excited about is seeing what you guys come up with. So for now, put on your creative thinking caps, good luck, and have fun. Can't wait to see what you guys come up with.